Hey everybody, Alex Newman here with the New American. Welcome to another episode of Conversations That Matter. And we've done quite a bit on what's going on in California. In fact, not long ago we had a guest who broke down what was going on in Northern California. They were planning to break down 4 of the dams that really make life possible up in some of the northern parts of California. Turns out this is not isolated to Northern California. In fact, these water issues are raging in the central part of the state as well. And this is actually a national issue. So, with us today, we have a very special guest. His name is Erik Gorham. He's been fighting on these issues for a long time. He is in San Luis Obispo County. He's a grassroots activist, he's a businessman. He's been ranching and farming his whole life. He's got a natural fertilizer company, he's a rancher, he's got a landscape construction company. And he's been really, really involved in these local water issues. He's actually planning to run for office. He wants a seat as a county supervisor, which is like a county commissioner in 2024. So still some time away. But Erik, thank you for being with us. And tell us what's going on the waterfront. I understand these very, very powerful elites are coming in and they're trying to scoop up the water rights from the local citizens. Big corporations and investment groups are coming into small town California trying to get all the water rights. What's going on?
Yeah, in our area, we have one of the biggest natural water basins, basically between here and the Mississippi, and which is very lucrative if you need water rights. And a lot of these companies, that's what they're looking for, to be able to buy and sell water rights, turn it basically into a commodity. And we see this, I kind of see the new era of things trying to push into other states and maybe even a federal water system. But it's all about control. Who controls that? Who controls the commodity? And what happens, like to us, one of the reasons I got in this fight is, they want to steal those rights from us. And we're a little different because our water's all underground, very rich in underground water. But they basically create a bank and they take that space up. And if you look at a cup, if you can buy half that cup, I can only drink my half, and in time of drought, they come and take that water. They sell it off to, say, LA, someone, these areas that need a lot of water but don't have it for a lot of money, or they find ways in ag to use it. But mostly it's to sell to bigger communities and the collateral damage that happens to the small communities like us.
And so how are they getting these rights? Because I guess especially out west, water rights are a big deal, and typically when you buy a piece of land or something, it comes with water rights, right? So how are these big companies coming in and trying to extract these rights from the people who have them right now?
So one of the things they tried to do, and a group of citizens around here defeated them, is we have a lot of special water boards here and different water rights because it's become such an issue. One of the things they tried to do was get voting power. So they said, if I own 40,000 acres, I get 40,000 votes. And that's how they're going to try to get control from the county, from the citizens of different cities. Was, they figured they had massed enough property where they could outvote the local municipalities, local citizens. We've defeated that. But really what it comes down to is, and this over the years, it's been a lot of different issues. So I kind of know what they're going to do to other areas is they'll come in and a county will say, well, historical use, you've been using this water. So what they do is they plant vineyards, they overhead irrigate them, which is really unheard of around here. Nobody overhead irrigates a vineyard because that's just a waste of water. You use drip irrigation. They will come in and they might have thousands of grapes. They don't even harvest. They're just trying to show a historical use that they need that water, or they'll grow a crop like alfalfa, all these heavy water crops, basically show the use. And then basically what they're trying to do is down the line get those rights basically deeded to them from the county. It's not necessarily the right wordage, but it might be something that people understand better. And they always get that water. Some of them are quite honest. We're doing this for historical water use because we want to trade this water on a commodity. We have a state water line that runs through part of our county, and what they're trying to do is, they bought up the land on top of that. Once they can show the historical use, and they can try to bend the county to let people export water. Currently, it's illegal to export water to other places for the most part. But my opinion is they're going to try to sell it back to the state, to Santa Barbara, to wherever that water can go.
Hmm.
It's
Sounds like
really
some crony
turning
capitalism.
Yeah, and basically what you see if you look at these players who they've really latched onto in California is people like Gavin Newsom and even local people. They're really hitting politics, but they're hitting the leftists for the most part. Because, I mean, honestly, in California, the leftists don't tend to care about the rural communities, and we're
Mm.
collateral damage that they're willing to accept.
So, who are some of the individuals involved? I mean, I've heard the term the Wonderful Corp. Obviously, Bill Gates is buying up hundreds of thousands of acres, maybe more. Who are some of the people that are doing this, and what do you suppose their agenda is?
Well, if you look in California, a lot of the people you look at Stuart Resnick, who owns the Wonderful Corp, he owns a lot of other things, and locally, I'm trying to go. I guess I'll just skip to the big players. You got Harvard Investment, which is a wing of Harvard University, and really in the Central Valley, Northern California, and the Central Coast. That's where they're buying up land. That's where they're getting the water rights. Um, Believe it or not, Stuart Resnick was able. So Kern County, to the east of us, has a man-made water bank. It's, I believe, bigger than our natural water bank, but it's a man-made water bank. The citizens paid to get that water into the bank, which is just banking water underground. Somehow, through a backroom deal, nobody can quite tell us how. Stuart Resnick owns 51% of that water, which actually has people in that community, different communities over in the Central Valley, without water. They'll actually go on Craigslist to buy a shower. And people don't realize
Wow.
this is happening in California. We're supposed to be this great land of agriculture and plenty, and it just goes without seeing. People literally, have tanks in front of their house. Sometimes they get deliveries. Some people don't have deliveries, and they have to basically buy water from a neighbor down the street that can get water.
Wow.
The reason being is it's really control the water, control agriculture. When you take over the Central Valley, whether it's Northern California, Central California, you can take over a lot of the country. That's where your food comes from. A lot of your food, fruits and vegetables, etc., and really throughout the country. And we're seeing, and I think it's more of a globalist attitude because I mean we've already lost about 1.3 million acres of farmland in the San Joaquin Valley. That will never come back. It's gone. Um,
Where
and
you
input
lost it? What do you mean? Lost it to what?
basically they took the water rights away from the farmers without water, because San Joaquin Valley is not farmland. It has incredible soils, but there's no water. Hence we built these big, I mean, this goes back to, Kennedy was a big supporter when he was the president. We're building these dams to supply food to the nation. That was the point of a lot of the Northern California dams. Some of them are for water, drinking water, but if you really go back in history, it was to supply food to the nation because you have fertile land with no water. Let's build some dams and feed the country. You start
Okay.
taking that away. Where does that food start coming from? And I can't believe, because we just went through COVID and we saw these supply chain issues. Or I guess we're still doing it. There's still supply chain issues, but we're going to start supplying our supply of fruits and vegetables. If we keep going down this route, is going to be coming from South America and Central America, and we've already seen the disaster that's awaiting us when a natural disaster happens. They're not that those shipments are going to stop. We have this bountiful place in California that can feed the country and feed other countries, and we're slowly eroding away. This last month or two, they just shut off the water, the federal water from Lake Oroville, or the state water from Lake Oroville, to all the farmers. They just, guess what? In 2 weeks, we're shutting off your water. Well, what's been happening the last month? Harvest. They let them go through this whole process and shut the water off during harvest for the food that's going to feed the country.
Wow. And it's interesting. They're doing similar things in Latin America too. It seems like this is a global effort to shut down independent agriculture and centralize control over everything. Um, Before I let you go, how are you guys fighting this? And we just talked to people up in Northern California, the head of Water Users Association up there, and the federal government and these globalists are coming in. They're trying to blow up 4 dams that literally make life possible across
Mm.
all these communities. I mean, they for the agriculture, for just being able to live, just being able to have water up there. It's very dry, and the federal government says that we need to let some fish run that apparently never ran up there anyway, and so we're going to blow up all your dams and destroy the livelihoods of who knows how many tens of thousands of families. What are you guys doing in your neck of the woods to try to fight back against this? And are you guys seeing success? And do you suppose this is something that could be replicated in other communities? Because if it's happening there, I'm sure it's not going to be long before these exact same tactics show up in other parts of the country.
So it's really grassroots, and our board of supervisors. And without those, we would have crumbled a long time ago. So we have a group of, I believe it's about 700 citizens that sued for quiet title, which means if you live out in the county area, you're entitled to de minimis use of the water under you, or a reasonable use of the water underneath you. And that was trying to be taken away by some of the local municipalities, and really, I think, backhanded on some of these larger companies. So that's lawsuit's almost over, but you had, I think, 16 lawyers from counties, cities, to big interests with these grassroots people. 700 people had one lawyer, and they fought him off. By and far, we were victorious. They lost a couple battles, and really, it's people like myself. There's a lot of people in this county that we have big mouths. We want to tell our story. We want to fight back. We find these meetings going on in small communities. We show up unexpectedly and try to just tell the truth. I mean, we're not trying to sway people. We're just like, these people are coming here trying to sell you a bill of goods. We're here to tell you what the repercussions can and will be. And people are listening by and far. Our county board of supervisors, unless things change next year, has been a very, we're 3-2 conservative. The conservatives are really fighting. We have one supervisor in particular that just brings the fight for water. She understands. She's been ranching her whole life. Her husband's family's been ranching their whole lives, and they just understand the battle, and they understand what's at risk.
Awesome. Well, Erik, thank you very much for joining us. Any final words of wisdom, final thoughts, anything I didn't ask you about that you want to mention to the folks before we let you go?
The one thing I would say, no matter where you are, especially if you're west of the Mississippi, you got to start looking who's moving into your neighborhood, what company. If you see a company like Harvard Group, you see a company like Wonderful. Our governor just started buying up property in a watershed in Montana that feeds those rivers. Interesting to me that our governor, who's very in with Stu Resnick, is buying watersheds. If they start buying that stuff, it's a slow change. They try to catch you asleep. You got to look at the companies, what they're doing, and start fighting. You really have to at the beginning, or they will walk all over you. It'll be way too late. By the time you realize what hit you, your town is gone. You no longer have water rights. You can't grow. You may not have water to drink. It's that bad in certain areas. So really look at it and feel free. California has a big infrastructure of people like myself. Get on Facebook, get on wherever, and find us. We're more than happy to share what to look for and what you can do to fight it.
Well, Erik, thank you very much for coming on the show today. Thank you for sharing your insight on this. And folks, this is a big issue. Without water, you die. Okay, that's how serious this battle is. Water is at the foundation of everything. If you can't drink, you can't bathe, you can't water your crops, you can't water your animals, it's over. Life is over. And that's why the globalists are so obsessed with getting control of these critical resources. And folks, it may not be in your community yet, but watch out. There's a reason why they're making these moves. There's a reason why it's starting in California. But keep your eyes peeled and do what Erik said. I mean, this is very, very serious stuff. Anyways, thanks for watching, folks. We sure appreciate your time. I'm Alex Newman. This is Conversations That Matter. And until next time, God bless you all.